Hey guys, Deepak here from digitaldeepak.com. And today we have Chesta Jain, who is one of the interns of the internship program, to share her experience of the internship program. So, hi Chesta, welcome to the call.
Hi Deepak. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm fine.
So, Chesta, which batch are you from?
I'm from batch 11.
Okay. So, you have completed the entire course by now?
Yes, I've finished my last assignment
Okay.
a couple of weeks back, and I got all the cashbacks now.
So, you have
Uh,
not spent any money for the program?
no, I've not spent any money on the program. I've also borrowed my father's laptop, and I'm using my brother's Zoom account premium, and I'm borrowing each other's pro account for Canva and all. So I haven't really spent anything on
Oh,
this.
even for the tools, you have not spent anything.
No.
Fantastic. I was thinking more about the education itself. The training obviously kind of becomes free if you complete all the assignments. And I think each and every assignment kind of stepped it up a notch in terms of difficulty, right?
Yes.
Sometimes it was technical difficulty and sometimes it was emotional difficulty. Like, for example, the 11th week is marketing automation, which is so technical, which is difficult. But the week 12 is actually making a sales call, which is like kind of psychologically difficult, not technically difficult.
So I loved the 12th assignment
Mm,
because, it was more thrilling rather than just a technical or technical
mm,
aspect of it.
mm.
So in 12th assignment where you tell us that you have to book a sales call for a property, a high-end property, and sales call for a top-notch car, a luxury car. So I booked a call for, I hope he's not listening this call, but I booked for DLF Camellias, which is 25 crore of property.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
we went there.
Oh,
It's
wow. You went there like for site visit. Oh, that's
Yes,
taking up to the
I
next
went
level.
with my husband and my child, and
Okay.
they treated my child as a, like a
Yeah.
potential buyer because her school is also nearby. So they
Okay.
thought maybe she would like to buy this property because
Mm, mm.
she has the school here. Also, I booked a test drive for Porsche.
Oh,
So
wow.
I drove to Porsche,
Okay.
and the experience was very thrilling
You
because
actually did a test drive of Porsche?
yes,
Oh, wow. Great.
two two cars,
Two
not
cars.
just
Oh,
one.
okay.
And I was wondering why this is the last assignment, why I cannot have another one, and I can go for Audi and all the Lamborghini maybe as
Mhm.
an upsell.
Yes, yes. So yeah, I think a lot of these real estate people and luxury car manufacturers will be like, "Kaun hai ye Deepak?" He's creating so many
Suddenly our
unqualified leads
leads
for
are
us.
increasing, but the conversion is not happening.
Yeah. So how does it feel when you walk into a 25 crore apartment or when you are like considered as a potential buyer for a Mercedes? What did you observe? How did these salespeople behave? How did they behave differently? And also, how did you personally feel that? Did you feel like, one day I will achieve this, maybe 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, but I definitely want this. Do you feel that?
Basically, the presentation was outstanding. The moment you walk into the experiential center of their place, which is not a sample flat, but an experiential center,
Mm,
and there was a 3D. There was a screen
mm,
where they had projected a movie, and it was a AV room.
mm.
And then you are served with everything you order,
Yeah.
and after that presentation the screen opens up,
Mm,
and there was this entire a miniature of the property which
mm.
was like huge, like my living room size.
Oh, wow.
And there was
Okay.
another 3D screen behind that, and
Okay.
it was all dark, and suddenly when another presentation gets over, this lights up, the
Okay.
miniatures lights up, and it
Okay.
feels like, like a fairy tale, like a Disneyland, which has little lights over it, and then
Yes.
they will take you there, and they will show that, this is the column here, and this is the
The
area.
sales process and the buying process is actually more fun than owning it, by the way.
Exactly.
Because once you own it, then obviously you have to maintain it, you have to pay for it. If you are going into debt to get it, then you have to pay EMIs, then you will have neighbors who might be problematic. So all this will not be as much fun once you actually own it. But the possibility of owning it and looking at how the sales process goes, especially for a high-end product, is one of the best lessons that people can get when it comes to sales, because you need to push the boundaries, right? You need to get people comfortable to buy at a higher price, and then go ahead and give them more value as well. So that push comes easily. Like, for example, once I walked into a Lamborghini showroom and this person completely rejected me. I actually gave my hand to shake his hand, and he did not give his hand also. That's how rude he was. And it's okay, it feels uncomfortable. A lot of people would not have the guts to walk into a Lamborghini showroom, but sales is about that, right? You are asking for a sale which you feel like the prospect might or might not be ready to give you. And the possibility of facing the rejection from the sale is the same kind of rejection that I felt when I walked into a Lamborghini showroom. And I also had a helmet in my hand, so it was obvious that I came in a two-wheeler there. And the salesperson was just looking at me like this. And I also asked, can I take a selfie? And he said no for that as well. And I just walked out of the showroom, and I just, chewed it, digested it, swallowed it. But then you get used to it. Now, I don't mind doing it again. Next time it won't be, that bad. Next time I'll probably try to dress better, and then try to act like a buyer and see if he actually responds. So, these are the lessons that are available all around you, right? You can go and try to approach a stranger in the street and talk to him, but nobody does that. They want online course. They want to join the internship program. Obviously, I motivate them to do it, but the lessons are, the way you break your comfort zones and the way you break boundaries around you is the biggest teacher that is always available around you, right? That's how people from no background at all have become like billionaires over a period of 20 years. That's how they did. They kind of kept knocking doors, kept breaking down doors, and they kept breaking through that barrier of not just the barriers outside, but the barrier of their own thought patterns, their own self-confidence and everything. So that is why I feel like the 12th assignment is very powerful. It literally puts people out of their comfort zone. That is like the most uncomfortable thing to do, to call like, a luxury car showroom and, act like a buyer and ask if you can get a test ride. And if you get rejected, it is still great. You still get rejected. Nothing wrong in telling them that you do not have plans of buying at least for, let's say, 1 year, assuming that within 1 year you will make that much money, but you want to test drive now and you want to kind of make a decision right now. So nothing wrong in it. I mean, you cannot go wrong with it. It's not a lie anymore.
Yeah, so I have worked in a retail industry for really long time. For 9 years, I was in as a retail brand strategist. And I have stayed on floor. Like, I've literally picked up the cartons and tested the merchandise and placed them in the shelves. So you get to interact with a lot of customers, and you get to learn about the psychological behavior of people and consumers. So initially, when I was a fresher and I was working on the floor, I saw that there was some guy who was not even well dressed, and he's walking into this sort of a luxury store where I was working, and in the women category, and he would just come and look at the store, and I was like, why is he here? And he's just wasting time. But actually, he is actually the right customer, because he's the one who is dealing with cash. He has cash in his pocket. He would pick up for his daughter or wife or sister, and 5-6 merchandise, and he would just straight up, he would just tell me that कुछ अच्छा सा दिखा दीजिए मेरी बीवी के लिए, बहन के लिए, और मैं कुछ दिखा दूंगी high price item. He would just pick it up and say, आपको fit आ जाएगा, हाँ ऐसा ही है, fit आप ले लीजिए, and direct conversion happens. So that day I learned, and I was in my 20s, and that day I learned that always respect any human, any customer can be your customer.
Yes.
Today or tomorrow, it can be, the time frame could be, the funnel could be different, but definitely everyone is a customer. So always speak with
Of course.
respect.
Obviously, I'm not saying that this behavior is actually right. The Lamborghini car showroom salesman, the way he behaved with me, because one day I might buy a Lamborghini or I might buy something better than a Lamborghini. I might reject a Lamborghini because the car doesn't fit my needs. So I feel that, but a lot of our country is still like that, very hierarchical, very patriarchal sometimes, and feeling like, hey, I am high status, you are low status. India is mostly like a status driven country. People fight more to get status than people fight to get wealth. But wealth is a positive sum game. I am quoting Naval here. And status is a zero sum game. You have to pull someone down to get that status. But if it is wealth, then everybody can be wealthy. Fantastic. So tell me, Chesta, apart from the experience with the 12th assignment, how was the overall experience, the support, the experience of a cashback? Because I think this has never been done before in the world at this scale, at least. Maybe in a very small cohort, somebody might have tried incentivizing people for learning as an experiment, but nobody had actually made it economically feasible as much as I have. I think we are now close to 10,000 students. So what is your thoughts on the cashback program? How the cashback has actually motivated you and transformed you and made you learn this program? And talk about the other content and other experiences that you have had with the program.
So cashback is very interesting stuff. It is very inspiring. Like, it is not really just because I need money. I was okay giving, spending even 50,000 for a program in digital marketing. I was in fact talking to one of the universities and trying to figure out what kind of programs they are offering. And they said it is for 60,000, it is for 1 lakh for this international university. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm already from IIM Calcutta executive program. Why should I do this, So then somebody told me, like, why don't you find out some online courses? And there are so many at a very reasonable prices. And that's how I got stuck on Digital Deepak. And when I enrolled into the Lead Magnet, in like say 10 days of going through that Lead Magnet of 25 free videos, I had already made my website. I had already written a content. I was already getting traffic. And I said, wow, like this, it feels like, I felt like Deepak is sitting next to me and just telling me, Ki Cheshta, click here, click that, and see this is that and that. I never felt that I'm doing a digital program because I've always been into classes and doing offline thing. But this was my first experience in digital, and I was a little scared, like, what happens if I'm stuck. But I felt like you were just there and helping me out like a one-to-one program, like a one-to-one. So that's how I was really waiting when this internship will start. And finally, I got an email that, finally it is starting, and I enrolled it. And the support system is awesome. The Telegram group makes you feel like you are back into a hostel. And it is like late night working, late night studying together, and you are sharing your emotions to each other. We have gone through very stressful period of COVID, and there was time when some of us broke down literally, that some has lost their father and some has lost their jobs, and still we were together and helping out each other. And there was moment that I literally cried that, there's so much of work for this internship program, and I wanted to go out and help people. But I was like, how do I manage everything? There's already my home, my internship program, which was already at a very peak level of time engagement. But we sailed through it because the group was so helping, and they were they are really good with each other. And 500 people all over India was like crazy. So I got to make a lot of friends here, and really good friends here. So really happy. And Jayant, our mentor, is super amazing. He has a lot of patience to answer everyone, and he's fun. So
great. I'm glad that it's not just like a product, it's like an experience, right? It's like it kind of consumes you. You are thinking about it every day. The weekly assignments are coming up. You have to submit the assignment, and then you get the cash back, and then you're excited. Then you share it with your other people, the good news. and you also end up helping other people. If somebody needs a help, if you need a help, there are other people to help. So we are trying to make this even better by bringing in a lot of new technology features, mentorship, and everything. And this is just the beginning of it. So I feel like, this can literally revolutionize education. But still, a lot of people believe in this model. I think the change will come slowly. They say, no, first they ignore you, and then they will fight you, and then they will finally accept, right? So I still feel that a lot of people are now coming to the realization, and a lot of new registrations and a new batch enrollments are happening just via word of mouth. We have had instances of daughter convincing her dad to join the program, dad convincing son to join the program. So now it's like family course.
Yeah, in fact, you should just start a family bundle, because I wanted my niece, she's 18-year-old now.
Okay.
So I said, why don't you, after your school, why don't you do this 3 months of program?
Yes.
Why you are only on Instagram producing, bad content with
Yes.
your stupid selfies? Why don't you, talk about this place and do a travel blog on your Instagram? And
I
then,
see it more and more being recommended to youngsters who are just out of college, who are not necessarily looking for a course, but some senior or cousin or brother is recommending it to them. And we have had people who are as young as 14 or 15 years old in the program. And I thought the eldest was 62. But I mean, let's say 62 years young. But recently we met a person who is 68 years young, and he's like full of enthusiasm, and he's doing all the assignments and everything. So yeah, really glad to see that this program has really, scaled much bigger than I thought, and has become, more like, something that people talk about to their friends.
yeah, it's total fun. Like my friends are saying, you are ignoring us these days. What are you
Because
up
we are
to?
in the internship program. Ask them to also join, and then they will also be inside it.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So tell me, Jesta, what is your future goals now that you have had a transformation with this program? Suddenly looking at, hey, I can do this. Hey, now I have got a lot of skills. So how do you want to actually put it into use and end up getting an actual monetary ROI, out of the time and money that you have spent, money that you have got back, but you have spent a lot of effort in learning. So how are you going to get an ROI out of it, and what's the plan for it?
So now we are good with the T vertical. Now I'm learning, getting into my T vertical, which is SEO content writing, SEO content marketing. And because my blog is ready, I already have 5,000 page views on my blog. So I am going to start a small mentorship program for women with their comeback, because
Okay.
I feel that women like me who had a lot of potential but had to become a housewife for a few years, and then when they want to come back to work or job, they feel that where to start with.
Where to start?
So
Yes.
where to start again. So women like me who have their children who are settled now, and so something for them, maybe how to earn online, giving them some push to start up a home business through Instagram, or say anything
It
for
can
them.
be
Right?
it can be a Shopify store. They could sell some
Right.
widgets. They could source some, let's say, fancy jewelry or something like that. There are n number of areas, and I think you should kind of really focus on this niche, because when you are very focused on a niche, people pay a premium and people respond better. So I think you should position yourself like that, and maybe come up with a brand, something like Mom 2.0, and just talk specifically to the mom. Are you a mom who has been a mother, and now the kids are at least at a stage where you can kind of outsource taking care of them by putting them in a school at least for 6 hours in a day. And then moms can start getting back into the workforce. And in India, they say that the percentage of women who are working is very, very less even compared to Bangladesh. And some estimates put it like 10 to 20% of the women are working, 80% of the women are not working. So I think this is like a very, very big niche, and a niche which has a little bit of an unfair advantage for you personally because you are in debt, right? So I cannot probably be a niche owner for this kind of niche. So I think you should definitely take it forward, become a digital mentor, and mentor moms on health, fitness as well. Success mindset, how they have to like kind of rebuild their identity of themselves. All those things are like really fascinating areas to work on.
So I've recently written a blog on travel with moms,
Okay.
traveling for moms. So how
Okay.
traveling, how holidaying is different for a mother than everyone in the family. So because mother has to take care of so many things about the luggage, the food, the baby has eaten properly, and 100 things.
I can relate to it so well. My mom never felt like the vacations were her vacation. She still had to, take care of all those things.
Yeah, so my blog is trending on page 3 on Google without any SEO,
Okay.
without doing anything.
Okay.
And now I have optimized it, and let's see where it goes
Okay. What's the
in
name of your blog?
backpackersmom.com.
It's actually a very nice brand name.
I initially thought I would do the travel stories for moms. But then I thought, why not financial independence, since I know about freelancing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
See, this blog actually looks very nice, very well put together. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
You have a newsletter. It's like very solid. The color theme is good. Pink, little bit dark pink. Okay, so the
Yeah, how to
blogs are well
motivate.
laid out. So which
This
theme
has
are you
my
using?
I'm using Cardin's theme and Elementor.
And you have a YouTube as well?
I only have this video, which
Okay.
was assignment 5.
Okay. Great. It still has got 159 views. Little bit of comments. I think you should do more of this. See, I think you have a great personality when it comes to, interacting online, kind of expressing your thoughts and emotions, which you are doing very well in this interview itself. So start doing more of YouTubing. And initially, it is going to be very rough. I used to think that I will start YouTubing only after I have a studio, a camera, lighting setup, and everything with a green screen element is the backdrop. And then it never happened because I'm traveling, I'm moving here and there. And then I finally figured out that, boss, take your iPhone, put the front facing camera, record it, edit it like just top and bottom so that it doesn't look too long. And I upload it on YouTube. And the recent 4 or 5 videos I have posted has got like 1,500, 2,000, some has got even 3,000 views. So I think you should just do that, start posting more videos, and in the future you can start deleting some of the old videos also if you want, because you think that it can be produced better or the same message can be delivered in a better way. So just put it out there. It doesn't need to go down in history. You can always delete it. And I think you should definitely get started with it.
Yeah, so I figured out Q prompter also.
Okay.
And I've practiced how to speak on Q prompter because I got a lead from some motivational leading guru that, would you like to collaborate with me and
Okay.
send me a screen test for your video? And then I was shortlisted and I got a contract also. Work hasn't started yet, but something on that front.
To be very honest, I think over time, teleprompter, Q prompter, and all, it's not gonna work. You just have to be natural and just talk in front of the camera, just like you would talk to a friend. I have tried it. I have tried having a teleprompter. I have tried reading out the entire content. The videos are maybe looking well produced, like a news anchor talking with me wearing blazer. I have done it in a studio and all. But I think my iPhone selfie videos actually get more traction than any other video I have created. So that production value that people invest their time and energy on is actually not real value. It is more like you are dressed well. It can have a slight effect that you are presented well, but that's not the product. The product is what you say and what you communicate. And if you have to create a lot of content, then you can't do like this whole teleprompter videos. Like we took 3 months to create a course with 12 videos. Each videos was 10 minutes each. And this was in collaboration with a client. And we had a studio, we had teleprompter, we had a cameraman, we had a guy scrolling the teleprompter, we had a green screen, then we had a video editor, then we had graphics, animations. Then we figured out, boss, no one cares. No one bothers.
Right.
and it didn't pick up at all. And then you're like, why did we do all this? So then I figured out the value is actually in understanding the pain points and challenges, right? Like, for example, if you have a community of moms, the value is created by you listening to them. Listening itself is value, understanding what their pain points are and then talking to them directly. You can send out plain text, have no logo, have like a very, very simple WordPress blog, not even like you can have a Google Doc. You can write a sales message in a Google Doc. If the message is right, it will sell. And you can link from that to PayPal or whatever payment gateway you want to link, and people will enroll if the messaging is right. So I was like that for a while. I was focusing too much on presentation. Nothing went anywhere. I will get back to focusing on presentation, but at a later stage, because when it comes to communication, when it comes to personal brands, to some extent, it also kind of makes you down to earth. If you are like having like a selfie video and it's not even like on a tripod, it feels like you are having like a video call with a student, right? So there are other areas like UI UX, the logo design or the app design, the app logo, the app interface, where the presentation plays a huge role because it is functional. But here the presentation is not functional, it's just aesthetic, right? So whenever design can be done or design effort can be put for functional things, I'm all up for it. Functional things being extremely functional itself is very good design. Like, for example, Google does not have any design. It's just logo, text bar, and then it's just text. But it is extremely functional, which is a design of its own, right? So I think there is a lot of work for me to at least dive deep into when it comes to areas of design and presentation. But yeah, when it comes to creating content, just go for it. Just start writing, start creating a newsletter, start writing an ebook, publish a book for moms. Then you will get more credibility, do more webinars, create online courses, mastermind programs, do offline events. It's a ton of things to do.
So I in fact wrote an ebook as a lead magnet, and it was so thrilling on Canva. I did a webinar on how to sell yourself for women, basically. And then I repurposed the same content for Magic of Right Conversation, a handbook for women by a woman.
Yes, so that would work very well. Yes.
Yeah. So, and it's nicely designed in Canva also, because I've worked with a lot of graphic designers during my retail industry. So it has come out like beautiful, and the cover page is so stunning.
Great.
Everybody loved that.
I think this is a great niche, because a lot of people in your situation go for the parenting niche and how to take care of baby niche. I think there is enough competition there. I mean, you might be good with that also. I mean, I think you are pretty good with that, but not might be. But I think that is the, like, for mom who want to get back into work and start becoming productive again, there is not much of advice going on around. So yeah, we were talking about, Naturals, how they became a very big salon chain. And not much is different on the consumer side. It's just like a neat place, and it has some systems and processes around it. But on the B2B side, they focused only on women who wanted to become entrepreneurs, women who have capital to invest but do not have any recognition for themselves as an identity about what they do. And they don't want to just be this rich man's wife sitting at home. They want an income for themselves, they want a business for themselves, an identity for themselves. So I think there is a lot of work that needs to be done in that area in our country for women to be encouraged into going for jobs. And also people should stop discouraging women from going to jobs. So I think you can become like, if you really take this seriously, I think you can become like a influencer or a thought leader in this whole space, that why women should work.
Right. I think women needs validation. They are capable enough, but somehow they just lose confidence.
Exactly. Happens because sometimes, women are not in situations where, they have responsibilities towards the kid. And then you need the husband and the husband's parents and the women's friends, everybody to motivate them and to kind of give that reassurance and validation again that yes, their skills are going to be worth it and the world will find their skills useful. It's not like, they can never go to a job again.
Right.
Yes. Very interesting. So any other questions for me?
No, I think you have been always there to answer all the questions. And more than the questions, I think the data itself was very well structured. The course was very well structured. that we didn't feel there was anything that we want as an additional support. And I'm right now doing the 100-day blogging course, and the SEO part is great. And it also talks about Quora. So yesterday I was working on Quora, and I've answered a lot of questions. I've optimized it very well. I have made a great profile on Quora. So I've also made my profile, optimized my profile on LinkedIn. So these are the add-ons that I'm doing, so that whenever somebody is now searching me, I am very well listed on page 1 of Google as a Chester Jain, as a keyword. So before going into the market and selling myself as a freelancer or for a job or part-time or anything, I want to just make sure that my thing is correct. So I'm going to take another month for this, and I make sure that I have well optimized blogs. I have I'm very well ranking on the search engine, and all my social profiles are very well made. I have a good network, and then maybe.
So I'm just wondering why chestajain.com is still available.
Yeah, I thought I would just do that, take that. But
what if I end up taking it?
Not the right time to take up.
You should take it up. You should take it up. You should probably take it up right after this call, because once people start watching this video, they are just going to book this domain name and then contact you and sell it for double price.
Yeah, yesterday I was thinking to take it up, but
it's 700 rupees per year. Come on, it doesn't get cheaper than that. Like Deepak.com is, they're asking for some $100,000. So, name name, especially Chester Jain, can be a short name. For me, I have to get Deepak.com because DeepakKanakaraju.com will be like too long. So Chester Jain is a great name, and I think you can keep it like a personal blog as well and put up a blog there, or at least like a landing page. It's like a media kit types. If somebody is inviting you for a talk, they would need, hey, share me your bio, share me your pics, share me your social handles. Just put all of them at chesterjain.com, and if somebody says speaker profile, visit chesterjain.com. So that would be a great personal branding website.
Yeah, I'll do that right away.
Yes.
My brother owns the hosting business. By the way, domains and hosting business.
Just get a domain name. I think he would have a domain name registration as well, and host it and get going with it. I'm also planning to create a personal branding theme on WordPress, so that people can just plug and play all the elements, like let's say client testimonials, maybe few of their photos, their logo, their brand message or whatever, and it should kind of end up creating like a clear website for their own personal brand. So in fact, we are working on a theme which is exclusively, it's called Mass Trust theme. So Mass Trust is my keyword for personal branding. That's what I keep talking about. Cool. Great. So thanks a lot for being part of the program. I have also received your application for being a mentor on the Learn Today platform. And we have selected you as one of the potential mentors who could possibly join us, but things are going slow. And we will be reaching out to you once we want to, expand the number of full-time mentors that are working with us in Team Learn Today. So we will get back to you on that.
Sure. Thank you, Deepak.
Cool. Great. Thanks a lot. So what would be your advice? Last question for anyone who is thinking, hey, should I join this program or not? Will it be useful for me or not? A lot of people are still like, cat on the wall. So what would be your message to them?
I think this program looks like a digital marketing program, but it is not exactly just a digital marketing program. You learn much, much more than that. I think you are a life coach, because when you start with your week 1 video, which talks about the success mindset, and this is like a video which you can just go on over and over again. Like after every month, I think on day 1 of every month, you should watch that video and then start your month. So, and you're so down to earth, you're so honest. And when there's honesty and you are being down to earth, then you get business, right?
Yes.
So this is the right thing. Like, sometimes people tell me that, I can fake this and you can fake this and you can get this. And I said, why should I fake? I never fake anything, because
Yes,
I think
yes,
I'm
exactly.
capable enough of delivering the right thing. If I don't know anything, I will not take up. I
Yes,
do get a
yes.
lot of clients, but I just say no to them, because I think I'm not capable enough to delivering that them. Or
Mm,
maybe I would just recommend them that, I recently, just before this call, I sent a message to my one of my clients that, there is someone in my network in
mm,
digital marketing group who would like to do an internship with you. So would you like to, take up that person?
mm.
I prefer to connect them to the right people instead of just going to them and take up the job to get
Yes.
some few bucks. I think I have my clear goals
Mm.
and I would like to go on them.
Fantastic. All the best for it. And one point I want to, kind of talk more about is when you said you will get more business when you are ethical, moral, and honest. That is true, but at the same time, that is not the way I look at it. I don't look at honesty as being a way to get more business. I look at getting more business as a way to being honest, you know, because I strongly feel that wealth and prosperity is the antidote for crime. See, if imagine if I am living in a situation where I don't have my basic needs met, and let's say I'm in a situation where my kid is going hungry, of course I wouldn't hesitate to do a crime, right? And if I'm wealthy, if I am prosperous, then I can be honest. I pay my taxes, and I pay my rents, I pay my bills, and I am not trying to cut corners anywhere. I can afford to tell people that, boss, I am already well taken care of. How about we give all the money back from the internship program, and not take it as a fees? So for me, wealth and prosperity, which is getting more business, gives me a more peaceful life, because I don't need to lie, I don't need to cut corners, I don't need to think more about it, and I can be honest all the time, which is a luxurious way to live. So for me, business enables honesty. Honesty doesn't enable business.
Exactly. Very true. In fact, I think when I was in my early years of career, I must have also lied and been
Yes, yes,
dishonest. But now I'm
everybody
more
has.
saturated. And
Yeah, I mean, if you have
yeah,
no need to lie ever, that is the best way to live a life, right? Whether to your partner, or whether to the customers, or whether to investors, or whether to the government, if you don't lie at all, then you can actually live a very luxurious life. Imagine there are people who constantly have to lie to their partners. Then there are people who lie to their investors. There are people who obviously every day lie to customers, and then there are people who lie to compliance officers or the government as well, right? It's just so much effort, man. I just can't do it. Like, for what? It's just not worth the benefit, because the biggest value is peace of mind, right? People just throw it away as if it's nothing. So yeah, that's what I think about it, and I think I should probably talk more about this. I think people are ready to start, accepting this kind of mindset. It's a little bit deep for people to think about. And in fact, it is deep because people already have a little bit of hesitation towards making a lot of money, because making a lot of money has been in past associated with being evil, or, being corrupt and everything. But at the same time, without money, you cannot afford to be honest. That's a tweet. Without prosperity, you cannot afford to be honest.
I think money again, like for the first time when I received the kit from DDIP, and it had that gold card of 1 crore, and I was like looking at it like, what should I do with this? My goal is not 1 crore. Like my goal is just not money. My goal is not to make a good career. My goal is basically to create impact in someone's life.
Mm.
When I see the impact in someone's life, I think materialistically, my life is pretty okay. I have all the luxuries or all the things that I want in my life. I've achieved that. But now I am doing this DDIP program. I'm learning digital marketing program because somehow I felt like even after achieving a retail management strategist for 9 years, I still lack something, because when I see my juniors who are my digital marketing agencies are talking to me, and I feel that I don't know those things, then I thought that I should also get updated. So this is for my update, and I enjoy marketing. marketing. Marketing is my passion, is my love, and I would
Marketing
just
is just
keep that.
marketing is just amplifying your communication. You are talking to one person, you are trying to convince that person of something. That is language, that is your persuasion skill. Marketing is basically doing the same thing to thousands and thousands of people. That's all it comes down to, right? So it's like,
It's a life skill.
yes, it's a life skill. It's like English is a life skill. Like learning how to communicate, and language is a life skill. Everybody who knows English can do better in their life. And if you can amplify your communication, which is language, to more and more people, whether you are blogging, building a personal brand, having an email list, communicating to a lot of people, then you are basically amplifying the language that you already have. So everybody is a marketer inborn. Like as soon as we are born, we are persuaders and marketers. We persuade our parents to give us food. We gain attention by crying, right? So we are marketers, like we are born marketers, right? We just have to kind of refine that skill over time, so that I am not crying on the road, boss, give me money, buy my product. Instead, I am much more strategical in trying to, convince people that, hey, I have something of value, which is 10x of what you will pay me for. So this is a good deal. Why don't you make that deal with me? It all goes back to, make them a deal that they cannot refuse in a positive way. So for me, I think the internship program is a deal that people cannot refuse. I mean, like people actually get confused. Like, Deepak, how do you make money? Is it a scam? Like, how can you give all the money back and still make it work? But that's the business secret, how we make it work.
Right.
Cool. So had a wonderful conversation, Chesta, and thank you for taking part in this interview. I also got a very nice quote out of this conversation. So this is what I tweeted. Without prosperity, you cannot afford to be honest all the time. Prosperity is a way to live an honest life. Trust leads to business, but more importantly, business enables trust through wealth. So I think that's a thought of the day for me.
Exactly. Also with DDIP, I was a little scared with getting into digital marketing. I thought it's very, very technical. But that was my biggest fear. But you made things go so easier, and I realized, because in week 2 video where you talked about traditional marketing and digital marketing, and the way you explained that the base is the same, right? It is, you have to have that marketing mindset. That video made me comfortable in week 2, that okay, if the base is the same, then I can crack it. And from there, I think I picked it up very well till week 5, till week 6. And I think creating the WordPress was also, I sailed through it. I'm pretty comfortable with Elementor now. So even for even if people are thinking that it's a very technical thing, then just go for it. It's not that technical part of it, and just couple of assignments is technical, but otherwise it's pretty okay. I think the scripting in week 11 was a little challenging. I was stuck for like 2 days. What happened with the if else statement? I was trying to create a nesting.
Yes, that is, I think, deep marketing is the most technical part of the entire program, where people almost become programmers and coders, but you are not programming a computer code, you are programming communication on how it should be sent to people. So you are basically, it's like coding into people's heads.
Right. Yes. So I think it's just 10% of technical part, and 90% is pretty okay. You can sail through it. So if somebody is thinking that they are not technical, if that's the fear, then don't get
don't get
just go for it.
Afraid of what's there in store. Fantastic. Thank you, Chesta, and all the best for your career. And I hope to see your blog, and I hope to see you as an author, thought leader, influencer, digital mentor down the line. And let's see how things go. If you can also become part of our team, we will explore that as well. So have a great day and a great week ahead. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Deepak. Bye.
Bye.